Hey guys, Jane here, and today I am reviewing the book Racing Hearts by Marcia James. So, this book is about this guy named Tom, and he was formerly a race car driver, and he was in an accident and he got traumatic brain injury from the accident and started having seizures. So, his parents called the local service dog place and wanted to get him a service dog, a seizure sensing dog. It's a mouthful. So Meg shows up with this dog, this Chinese crested, for Tom. And Meg happens to have been Tom's tutor in high school, and she had a huge crush on him then. And, he didn't really know she was alive. He dated her sister, and, she was just like the girl next door, the little sister type thing, nothing personal. So, but she likes him, and he's not having a lot of luck with women right now, not that he's trying because of his seizures. And yeah, it's a romance. And I didn't like it. Um so this is a 3 out of 5 stars for me. And I don't most books, if they are are a fairly decent read, like if they're meh, I will give it I will give it a 3. This book, I could see why other people would like it. It wasn't for me at all. Um, and as a matter of fact, I think it was the style of the story, because the story itself seemed like it was going to be so up my alley. I absolutely love service dog stories. I love romance, and I was so excited to see a Chinese crested as a service dog because that was something unusual. You see the golden retrievers and the German shepherds, and even sometimes like the mixed breed dogs. But just this is a dog that I imagine being in people's like little pocketbooks, like rich girls in Paris and in New York and stuff, carrying these little dogs in their purses, and it's like, oh, this is a service dog, and that's really neat. So I mean, I did like that aspect of the book, but the romance itself didn't really work for me for a lot of reasons. Um, the book is really short, and I get that that's going to make it kind of compact, but this book had major problems with pacing for me. Like everything just happened really, really, really fast. And I felt like this book could have more easily been a novel. Like it would have been more enjoyable in a novel because there was just so much happening, and it was hard for me to be invested because everything was just so fast. Like she shows up and suddenly they're all hot for each other. And that didn't work for me. Um, Another issue I have, and this is so personal preference, and I feel weird saying this considering the kind of stuff I write, but this book was kind of too steamy lusty for me. Like it wasn't that it was explicit necessarily, but it was too much on the lusty side. Like they're just too much. Too much. From the first kiss I knew, I knew this book was too much from their first kiss. I'm like, just didn't know. And I'm a romance writer, and I love romance, and I don't mind steamy scenes, and I don't mind a little bit of lustiness, but this was just, for me, so too much. And in fairness, I would have probably known that if I'd have bought the book online. I was given this book by a friend, so I wasn't prepared for the amount of heat in this book. Because, if you look at it, there's no naked man chests or anything. It looks like a fairly mild book. But there was so much lust. And I felt like in a lot of ways the characters didn't really fall in love, they just kind of fell in lust. And that was one of the big issues I think I had. I didn't feel like much of a love story so much as everybody's horny and we're gonna get it on. Um, so yeah, that didn't really work for me very well. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and do some spoilers here for some other things that didn't work well for me. But before I do, I'm gonna say this book, if you don't mind a really steamy read and more lust than love, this was okay. It wasn't terrible. It was not at all for me. I did like the service dog aspect of it, but that was about the only thing that really worked well for me. But if you don't mind a lot of heat, and again, this wasn't an erotic. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. They just kept constantly looking at each other and wanting each other's bodies. And I felt like they didn't even know each other. Like, yeah, they knew each other in high school, but they're so much older. They're in their 30s now. He barely knows her. And you don't ever really have that develop. It's all like, he's cute and she's cute and, we should do it. Okay, so spoiler section coming up. If you don't want it to be spoiled, this is where you hop off. Okay, so I already mentioned that the lusty thing was a huge problem, but it wasn't even just that. Like, everything moved so fast. I think they got engaged in like a week. And that was just, it was crazy. They literally, she shows up with the service dog and he's all like, hey, you're hot. And like the next day she comes and checks on him and the service dog and he kisses her. And then she goes to the training center, or he goes to the training center with her and is like, hey, you should come to dinner at my place. She goes to dinner at his place, sleeps with him twice, may I add. I think I skipped over that. I like skimmed over that part because I was just not feeling it. Not feeling it at all. I mean, they did at least use condoms, so props for that, but not feeling any other part of the whole bedroom stuff. So they have sex. The next morning, they're kissing outside. Oh, I should add this. He hasn't told the media about the fact that he's had these injuries and he's not going to be a race car driver anymore. Now, I feel like you should have told somebody, because if this injury had happened on the racetrack, that would have solved it, but it didn't. It happened like while he was out in his own vehicle. So he has traumatic brain injury. He hasn't told the media about it. So everybody's like speculating, where is Tom? Is he coming back? Does he have a brain tumor? People think he has a brain tumor. I'm not sure why the paparazzi and the media think that. So much in this book was just so contrived for my taste. Like, it just felt like they were setting up, like, we don't know how to make this work, so we're just going to go with it. And you really had to suspend disbelief, and I just couldn't do it. So, very much like, hey, Tom hasn't told the media. So he and her are kissing outside, or touching or something outside, after having had sex. And he's shirtless and stuff. And somehow the paparazzi finds him and takes pictures and posts them online. So then he's all like, we should run away together. And she's like, no, that's a bad idea. And so the big romantic thing he does that is supposed to try to like convince her that he really loves her, even though he still barely knows her. And we don't know her. Like, I know who her aunt is because she works for her aunt. I know she used to teach him, tutor him in school, and that she's had the hots for him for like ever. But I didn't feel like I really knew her as a person, or that she got very developed as a person. But other than she's hot. Apparently she is very, very hot, which is good for him. And she loves dogs, which I love dogs too. You got some points going. But so he decides, after having not told the media all this, that he is going to break his silence. And this is his big romantic gesture. He goes up in front of all these media people and is like, hey, I'm not coming back to racing because I have seizures, and this is the girl I want to marry. And basically she's like, hey, I've been back together with you for like 5 minutes. And yeah, let's get married because that seems like a really good idea. It was just, oh my gosh, it was just so fast. So fast. And I mean, it just, I didn't even feel like it was like a whirlwind romance that I could get behind. It just was like, the pacing maybe was off. And again, it's a short book. I don't know what else the writer could have done, but just not at all. Not at all for me. So, I am actually going to be passing, I had 3 books by this author that were given to me by my friend, and I'm going to be passing them on to another friend who likes a lot steamier books than I necessarily prefer. And hopefully she'll enjoy them more. The other ones were novels, so I was pretty tempted to try them, but just this writer's style and the amount of heat. And I did check out her website, and it very much says, she writes really hot books. So I don't think I would enjoy them anymore, and it probably just isn't for me because of the heat level. So yeah, I was disappointed because the storyline looked great and I really was excited about it, and just not for me. So, have you guys read the book? Have you read others like it that you thought you were just gonna love, but then they weren't quite what you expected? What do you think in general of romance novellas? Because I don't read a lot of the novellas, I read a lot of novels, and I'm wondering if maybe this is a fairly typical thing in a novella romance, that it's just like super whirlwind, super fast, super lusty, and there's not a lot of development. I kind of want to know you guys' thoughts on this. All right, guys, so if you enjoyed this video, hit like, and if you like more content, hit subscribe. Thanks, bye.